Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nandari. I'm 15 years old, a child leader from Mongolia, and I'm your moderator for today's dialogue with children and government on the impacts of COVID-19 to Asia's most vulnerable girls and boys. Before we begin, thank you so much for joining us on this momentous event as we, children and young people, say, let our voice be heard. Today, we are excited to share to key stakeholders, governments, and international organizations our experiences and recommendations on addressing issues that children face during this pandemic. I'm especially happy to see my fellow youth join this event today. So, what are we waiting for? Let's keep the ball rolling. To formally welcome us all, we have Ms. Terry Ferrari, Regional Leader for World Vision International East Asia Region.
Hello to all of you, and thank you so much, Namadori. My name is Terry Ferrari, and I'm the Regional Leader for East Asia. Together with my colleague Sherry-Ann Thomas, Regional Leader for South Asia Pacific, we'd like to welcome everyone online, whether you're watching live or catching this recording later, to World Vision's Asia Pacific Child Wellbeing Learning Exchange. Our goal today is to bring together children, civil society, and government representatives to share pressing issues facing vulnerable children in our region. Please join us in this effort and take a moment to share our event today so that the voices of children can be heard. At World Vision, we're focused on helping the most vulnerable children to overcome poverty and experience fullness of life. Across 100 countries around the globe, with 18 of them being here in Asia Pacific, we help children of all backgrounds, even in the most dangerous places, and right now in the most extraordinary times. The 6 children who'll be leading our conversation today represent more than 100 children, girls and boys ages 11 through 19 across Asia Pacific. They're here to share how children's lives have changed as a result of the global pandemic, COVID-19. I was surprised to hear what they had to share. 87% of them spoke about an increase in violence at home. 47% had to stop their schoolwork to help their families earn an income. 49% report an increase in child marriage in their communities. And some children said they had seen sexual or inappropriate content online. The good news is 95% knew who to go to for help if they felt unsafe. And that's where our adult panelists come in today. Today, we have 8 distinguished government and civil society representatives who care enough about these issues that they're willing to take time out of their busy lives to listen to children and to join us in our conversation. I have the honor of introducing our government and civil society leaders. They are former chair and Thailand's representative to the ASEAN Commission for the Promotion and Protection of Women and Children, His Excellency Wan Chai Wajangnavorn, Indonesia's representative to the ASEAN CWC, Her Excellency Ms. Yum Fani Harani, Undersecretary for Legislative Affairs, External Partnerships, and Project Management Service, Department of Education of Philippines, Mr. Tonosito Umali, Deputy Minister of Women Empowerment and Child Protection of Fulfillment of Child Rights in Indonesia, Ms. Leni Rosalyn, Deputy Director of Hygiene and Health Promotion Department, the Ministry of Health of Lao PDR, Dr. Boyquao Soivantong, Director of International Organization and Strategy Subdivision, Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives of the Government of Thailand, Kun Hiran Sansong, Regional Focal Point, UN Major Group for Children and Youth, Mr. Natish Barol. And last but not least, we're honored to have Deputy Regional Director for UNICEF, East Asia Pacific, Mr. Margaluji Corsi, our keynote speaker today. I thank all of you for being with us. And now I turn it over to Namaduri from Mongolia child representative and facilitator for our forum today.
Thank you, Terry, for giving us the rationale and objectives of this dialogue. We're honored to be nurtured by an organization who puts great importance in hearing us and seriously taking our recommendation as children. At this point, let us listen from the former chair of the ASEAN Commission on the Promotion and Protection of the Rights of Women and Children, Thailand's representative, His Excellency Kung Wanchai Rojanwong.
Good afternoon to all children, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy to see many children here. First of all, let me say happy celebration of the Universal Children Day. As a member of ACWC and Thailand representative to ACWC on children's rights, I would like to confirm that the ASEAN Commission on the Promotion and Protection of the Rights of Women and Children, or ACWC, committed to develop relevant policy, responsive programs, and innovative strategy to promote and protect the rights of women and children to complement the building of the ASEAN community. We aim to promote and protect the human right and fundamental freedom of women and children in ASEAN by upholding the right contained in the Convention on the Right of the Child. With the advent of COVID-19 pandemic, children are often at a greater risk of being exposed to severe hungers, increased disease, and physical and emotional safety risk, which continue to hinder their full and effective enjoyment of human rights. As World Vision's assessment show, more than 70% of parents and caregivers confirm that their livelihood were fully and severely affected by the pandemic. Furthermore, loss of livelihood is the topmost concern for the rural and urban poor families, which in turn negatively affect all the other aspects of child well-being, include access to food and nutrition, access to healthcare and essential medicine, access to hygiene and sanitation facilities, and child protection and safety. And it disrupted their education as well. We will be hearing more of this data later. We in ACWC continue to take all necessary measures to promote children's rights and eliminate violence against children as we welcome the new normal. We endeavor to empower children to protect themselves and be actively involved in addressing issues that affect them. The value of child participation is very appreciated. Then allowing them to reach their highest potential. So my message to all children is that please participate as much as possible, especially in the decision that will affect all of you. We fully support all initiatives that provide space for child participation on decision-making process, like this dialogue today. Children talking to government and other stakeholders is a good venue to include children in the decision-making process to build a just world for them. Let your voice be heard and considered. It is imperative to listen to this young voice on their perspective and experience, especially on the impact of the pandemic, so that the government can adjust the policies and whatever measure to take care the concern of children by listening to you all. After all, you are the future of tomorrow. We will pass away in not a very long time, and then you have to take care of society instead of us. ACWC has been established for 10 years now. And we had done a lot of work to promote and protect the right of children in all 10 countries of ASEAN. One of the most important achievements of ACWC is the ASEAN Declaration on Elimination of Violence Against Children and the Regional Plan of Action on the Elimination of Violence Against Children, or what we call RPA-EVAC. This is very valuable, especially in time of COVID-19, because from our study, violence had been increased significantly during the pandemic era. ACWC is in the process of implementing the first 5-year programs of priority actions of the Regional Plan of Action. Other two important achievements of ACWC are the Declaration on the Protection of Children from all forms of online exploitation and abuse in ASEAN. This is a very serious danger that can reach to your bedroom from online. Another one is the ASEAN Declaration on the Right of Children in the context of migration. Children that have to migrate need protection because they are vulnerable group due to the situation of moving. ACWC is now in the process of drafting the Regional Plan of Action for the protection of children from all forms of online exploitation and abuse. And another one, the Regional Plan of Action for protection of the right of children in the context of migration. These two Regional Plan of Action are scheduled to be finished next year, with hope that we can finish it in time. For children who are the victim of human trafficking, ACWC has created a regional guideline and procedure to address the needs of trafficking in person victims in accordance with the ASEAN Convention Against Trafficking in Person, especially women and children, in order to better protect the child victim of trafficking in person. ACWC has strong awareness that the situation of COVID-19 creates serious difficulty for children in all settings, especially vulnerable and marginalized children. Thus, ACWC organized the ACWC special online meeting on the protective and preventive measure for women and children at risk of domestic violence during the COVID-19 pandemic on the 5th of June, 2020. To encourage government of ASEAN to pay more attention to children at risk of domestic violence caused by the COVID-19. ACWC committed to work with all our effort to promote and protect all the rights of children, especially during the difficult time of the COVID-19 pandemic. And one of our principles is to work with all children in ASEAN as our key partners. And we will listen to the voice of all children in ASEAN as well. On this occasion, I, on behalf of all ACWC members, congratulate our young leaders, our government partners, UNICEF and World Vision for creating these important spaces for a dialogue. We are happy to be part of this initiative and we look forward to listening to children's recommendations. I believe that it is not the end, but only the beginning of a meaningful children's participation in COVID-19 response. We committed to continue to advocate on behalf of women and children, especially the most vulnerable and marginalized group. Thank you to all children who are the future of ours. Thank you.
Thank you, Kumwan Chai. We appreciate ACWC's initiative to listen to the voices of children, especially during this pandemic. We'll look up to the great leaders like you who stand firm for our rights. We promise to stand by you, Kumwan Chai. Since the start of this pandemic, one of the organizations who really put children's rights forward is UNICEF. They have helped millions of children all around the world. And To be honest, we're very honored to have here with us our keynote speaker, Mr. Marcolucci Corsi, Deputy Regional Director of UNICEF East Asia and Pacific Region.
Thank you, Nomudari, and indeed a very good afternoon and warm welcome to all of you, in particular to the respected government delegates, NGOs, partners, and obviously to all colleagues, but in particular the young delegates that today are joining us and participating in this very important event. I think is we want today indeed acknowledge the learning that we have and we can share among ourselves. And I was thinking that this is the part of my job that I like most, when I had the opportunity to interact and with the children and young people. I indeed like that. And I hope that the opportunity that we have today is an opportunity where we can share, we can I would say harvest insights and wisdom from all of us, because particularly when we go through this challenging period, I think that's what we need most. Indeed, harvesting insight and wisdom from all of us, and as we can move forward, rather than harboring fears and anxieties which paralyze us. So I want to thank you, all of you, and particularly the organizers, to organize this important event, and particularly the Asian Commission on Promotion and Protection of the Rights of Women and Children, the government of Thailand, the government of Laos PDR, the Philippines, Myanmar, Indonesia, and all of you, all the young people across the Asian countries who have been engaging very meaningfully and participating very meaningfully with World Vision. And had today with us. I think it's indeed a pleasure that I accepted the invite from the World Vision to join of you. I think it's as you know, the participation of young people in any matter that has an implication for them it's part of the rights as part of the Convention on the Rights of the Children, but is also one of the four core principles, the participation of children in those decisions which have an impact on their life. So indeed, I think I see this event as an opportunity to do that, because at the end of the day, I think we can speak about rights, but unless we create opportunities for those rights to be fulfilled, I think we just speak about intellectual matter. So indeed, I see these very concrete opportunities to give voice to the young people and to fulfill their rights. And participation for me has to be meaningful. What I mean by that is that when two people come together, shouldn't be the sum of the two, should take us to the next level, should have an implication for all of us to move to the next level. And I see this event by listening to Nomudari, but also to interact with other young people. I see that there is indeed that capacity here, and this capacity is not just a matter of again having children or having young people participating, but I think it's also a matter of empowering them. So those are the two elements which are very much, to me, important and coming together. We create space for participation, but also we empower young people and children to be part of whatever is going to be decided. And then empowering comes with information, because unless you have the information, it's very difficult then to have that kind of meaningful engagement. And at the end of the day, I think the states as ultimate duty bearers is important that they create that space. And then that's why I was saying that those opportunities, that's why I was saying that I'm very pleased. Indeed, I appreciate the efforts of the governments that I just mentioned before in engaging with the young people, listen to them, and having them participating in matters that are important for their own life. We as UNICEF, obviously, particularly during this period, challenging period, we have been engaging in many countries across the region with young people. I just can give you some examples. In the Philippines, with UNICEF support, more than close to 1,500 young people shared their experience where being advocated through radio, television, and other social media to find solutions for them and the community. In Indonesia, we as UNICEF launched the COVID-19 Diaries, a digital campaign which about 900,000 young people participated, and 400 stories were shared by young people. And the campaign was successful because of their meaningful participation. In times of crisis, as we witness globally with the COVID-19 pandemic, government and communities have to ensure that mitigating efforts of the pandemic do not exclude or diminish the space for young people to have access to the right information to protect themselves, and they have the right knowledge as well. And indeed express their opinion, because one of the key principles that also we have is that, particularly in times of crisis, we have the accountability toward the affected population. And accountability toward the affected population doesn't mean only protect them and then deliver service to them, but actually making sure that they take a clear participation and active participation in any decision which concern their own life. I think while I think it's important that we recognize the building the children's capacity to be critical thinkers to the problem to solve, building accountability, and contribute to the social development and peace building. None of this can really be possible if, again, as I was saying before, we don't create opportunities, we don't shape policies, we don't create platforms at national, subnational level for that meaningful engagement of young people. So indeed, just as to conclude, we are living in a region which is where young people, they are connected. I think if I'm not mistaken, this region is one of the most active in terms of network, website, and digital. And I think there are plenty of opportunities that we can create for children to participate, to be empowered. So indeed, I look forward to the conversation today, and I hope that we will continue this partnership, not among us as adults, but partnership with the young people and children that we are here to serve. Thank you so much, Nomudari, and over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Corsi, for your message and for ensuring that children and young people are given space for meaningful participation in tackling issues that we experience. Well, now, friends, I know you're very excited to listen to the voices of our child speakers and response of our honorable government speakers. But before that, aren't you guys wondering who is joining this event? Like, where are they from and what kind of sub-region are they from? Well, just for that, we prepared a poll. So, for our participants via Zoom, please choose your answer, and for those in the live stream, please put in the chat your answer to the poll questions, your sub-region, and what sector you're representing. It's really easy to do, but since it'll take a little bit of time, while waiting for our poll response, I think it's very important to remind you guys, a friendly reminder of for your protection. So I swear I'm not going to talk a lot. There's only 5 of them. And the first one is, do not send or entertain direct message from people you do not know. And do not share your full name, including social media account name. It is really, really, really risky if you do that. Please don't. And third one, do not share your address. Only your subregion is allowed and or any contact numbers. I warned you guys, don't do it. Fourth one is if at any point you feel uncomfortable and feels in danger, please tell your adult mentor or the organizer via the chat channel. It is important you feel comfortable in this event. Now, last but not least, it's again, if you're not comfortable to answer any of the questions, you may choose not to answer. Is everyone clear? I believe everyone's clear and will follow through this protection. I warned you guys. Be careful, please. Now, I believe the poll results are ready. Can we please show it to everyone? It says here that, wow, a lot of us are from Southeast Asia, Southeast Asia. That's really interesting. And most of us are children and youth. Hey, what's good, friends? So, that was really interesting to do. And now I think we come to the most awaited part of our program. The children talk to the government. We consulted more than 100 children from 10 countries across Asia Pacific to tell us issues they face during the pandemic. We have identified specific issues where our child speakers will talk about during this dialogue. Let us watch this video to see how these consultations were conducted.
This is a negative effect because they feel unhappy and bored in home.
Ang mga batang nagtitinda sa kalye na kinakalaban ang malalaking sasakyan na sa isang maling galaw nila ay maaaring kumitil sa kanilang buhay ay iilan lamang sa mga nasasaksihan kong pangyayari.
अहिले चाहिँ लकडाउन भएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ बालबालिकाहरूले चाहिँ आफ्नै घरमा पनि अलिकति अनसेफ फिलहरू गरिरहेका छन्। अहिले मुख्य गरी त बालिकाहरूलाई चाहिँ घरमै यौन दुर्व्यवहार अथवा अब हाम्रो समुदायमा नदेखे पनि हामीले न्युजमा हेर्न सक्छौँ कि कति बालिकाहरूलाई चाहिँ बलात्कार भएको केसेसहरू हामीले देख्न सक्छौँ। अब त्यसै गरी
Saya takut penyakit ini menular kepada saya dan keluarga saya karena penyakit ini belum ada obatnya.
Hindi maaatin ng aking konsensya kung patuloy akong tutunganga at magsasawalang bahala.
我很想念我的小朋友们，每天上完网课后叮嘱家人。
have been entrusted with the responsibility of ensuring that today's children look at the future with hope. Let us not let their masks suffocate their vision of a brighter tomorrow. Let's hear the voices of children and let's work together to protect them and to address their needs in this challenging time.
Pandemic too. Just leave a message in the chat box. And for this dialogue, we have invited child speakers from 5 countries to share their perspectives, experiences, and recommendations to the government leaders. Just like that, after each child speaker, our dynamic government leaders will share their response, initiatives, and commitments. Our first issue is food security. During the pandemic, access to food has dropped. Loss of livelihood of parents pushes children to higher level of malnutrition. In the rapid assessments done by World Vision, 33% of respondents said that they eat lesser meals per day, while 37% said they're eating lesser portion per meal. In the same assessment, it was found out that 28% of children responders are having only 2 or even less meals a day. We invited Teredah, a child leader from Thailand, to share his experience and recommendations. We also invited Ms. Hiranai Strasam, Director of International Organization and Strategy Subdivision Thailand Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperative, to hear government's response to the needs of our children. Oh wait, hold on, everyone. Just an important note, Teredah will be speaking both in English and his local language, Thai. Please click on the interpretation button that looks like a globe at the bottom part of your screen and choose English for the English translation. After Teredah, please make sure you turn off your interpretation by clicking the button again. Now, join me as we let our voice be heard.
สวัสดีครับ Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Thiladet Biengla. I'm 17 years old. I'm from Thailand. During the peak of COVID crisis, one of the problems in my community was unemployment, leading to challenges on securing food. Many people to return city to their village to save money. Because of the pandemic, people in my community cannot trade religious and clothes, and they have little income. Some cannot buy food, but my family can go food at the backyard. And there are chicken given by World Vision. We so to have eat. We are fortunate to have been helped by various agencies, such as the Agriculture District. ถึงยังไงก็ตามนะครับถึงบ้านผมนะครับจะมีการปลูกหรือว่าการทำการเกษตรเนี่ยแต่ยังในหลายๆชุมชนพื้นที่นะครับก็มีปัญหาเกี่ยวกับการเพาะปลูกนะครับอย่างนั้นนะครับพอเกิดสถานการณ์เนี่ยขึ้นมาครับทำให้พื้นที่ในการจัดการเพาะปลูกหรือว่าทางรัฐบาลเนี่ยครับได้ไม่ให้ห้ามนะครับในการออกจากพื้นที่ครับทำให้ประสบปัญหาในการใช้จ่ายหรือว่าอาหารเนี่ยครับหาได้ยากแล้วก็ทำให้ปริมาณของอาหารลดลงนะครับดังนั้นนะครับปัญหาของพื้นที่เนี่ยเป็นข้อจำกัดของการปลูกพืชผักนั่นเองครับถึงต่อไปเนื้อสัตว์หรือว่าอะไรเนี่ยก็จำเป็นครับแต่ผมก็ได้เห็นนะครับว่าทางภาครัฐนะครับได้ช่วยเหลือประชาชนนะครับแต่ผมว่ามันยังขาดไปบ้างหรือว่ายังไม่เพียงพอผมจึงอยากให้ภาคเอกชนหรือว่าผู้ที่มีความพร้อมหรือว่าองค์กรต่างๆนะครับเข้ามาร่วมมือนะครับเพื่อจัดการปัญหาด้านอาหารโดยที่ให้เด็กและเยาวชนนะครับมีส่วนร่วมในการแก้ปัญหานี้ด้วยครับดังนั้นนะครับเราจึงควรที่จะเตรียมเด็กและเยาวชนนะครับจึงควรที่จะเตรียมความพร้อมของตนเองอยู่เสมอเพื่อที่จะช่วยเหลือผู้อื่นครับไม่ว่าทางรัฐบาลเนี่ยนะครับจะทำอย่างไรเราก็พร้อมที่จะช่วยเหลือครับและอยากให้ทางรัฐบาลเนี่ยครับเล็งเห็นถึงความสำคัญของเยาวชนครับเพื่อเป็นเครื่องมือในการพัฒนาหรือว่านำความคิดเห็นหรือว่าความคิดของเราเนี่ยครับเข้าไปในประกอบในการพิจารณาหรือว่าตัดสินใจอะไรต่างๆนะครับเพื่อให้มีประสิทธิผลมากขึ้นนะครับเราจึงอยากให้ทางรัฐบาลเนี่ยครับรับฟังและสนับสนุนเสียงของเยาวชนเป็นอีกส่วนหนึ่งนั่นเองครับโควิดนะครับถือว่าเป็นบทเรียนที่สำคัญกับใครหลายๆคนนะครับ กับใครหลายๆคนนะครับแล้วก็ ผมยอมรับครับว่าโควิดที่ผ่านมาเนี่ยทำให้ผมเนี่ยมีการเปลี่ยนแปลงและผมเนี่ยต้องเตรียมพร้อมอยู่เสมอครับดังนั้นนะครับข้อจำกัดของอาหารนะครับเป็นสิ่งที่ขาดไม่ได้เลยใช่ไหมครับเพราะอาหารนะครับมีความสำคัญอย่างมากครับเราจึงควรช่วยเหลือนะครับครอบครัวหรือว่าทางรัฐบาลเนี่ยนะครับในการประหยัดอาหารหรือว่าทำทุกวิถีทางครับเพื่อให้มีความมั่นคงทางอาหารมากขึ้นครับ During the COVID situation, I was given opportunity to participate in the training of life skill in the new normal, as well as during activity to help others. This includes save money and living sufficiently, and the most importantly, seeking knowledge to accept changes and adjust the way of life to survive in every situation. From the children of Thailand, I call everyone to work together in put an end to this pandemic. Thank you. ขอบคุณครับ
To you, Ms. Hiranai Sresa. Oh, please, you're on mute.
Can you hear me? Yes,
Yes.
good afternoon to all distinguished participants. On behalf of the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives, it is my pleasure to have the opportunity to share our efforts to responding to COVID-19 pandemic, especially on food security. It is known that COVID-19 outbreak has presented the world an unprecedented challenge on health, economy, society, and food security. The crisis is not affected only our daily routine, but also create a number of negative impacts on food production and distribution, which threaten the achievement of Sustainable Development Goal Zero Hunger. Every crisis always leaves its legacy. This time, the crisis leads the world to the new normal way of life. We must accept that the world has changed, and we need to find new ways to tackle the problem and move forward to create sustainable food security. Ladies and gentlemen, agricultural sector in Thailand is one of the main drive of economic development, and also grassroots of food for security of the country and to the world. Agricultural sector used to play a crucial role in absorbing surplus labor from large cities after the Tom Yam Goong crisis in 1997. A similar pattern happened after the COVID-19 outbreak. Labor force who seek income in the big city return back to their homeland after the government announced a lockdown in Bangkok. We cannot deny that agricultural sector play a crucial role in helping Thailand go through various crises. However, the development of agricultural sector in new normal period has many challenges regarding production development, price stability, and quality improvement. And the application of the sufficient economy philosophy or SEP is considered an option that will create opportunity and generate employment as well as easing poverty. The sufficient economy concept introduced by His late Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej during the 1997 financial crash has been highlighted again to increase income and reduce expense for people who have been affected by the COVID-19 situation. The concept focuses on self-sufficiency and reliance building, which require knowledge, prudence, and caution in planning and executing. It is already part of the government 20 years nation strategy, which will direct the country's economic and social development until 2037. Ladies and gentlemen, stability of farmer is the key achievement for security and sustainable production. Urgent assistance and support are delivered to farmer and small-scale producer during the COVID-19 pandemic. Technology and innovation will be the main mechanism that will lead our farmer to sustainable development. Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives, or MOAC, plays important on agricultural technology policy 4.0. We also provide capacity building training to prepare farmers to cope with unforeseeable future threats by establishing Agri-Technology and Innovation Center, or AIC, in 77 provinces nationwide. In order to develop the competitiveness of the agricultural sector, through the combination of local wisdom and technology under public-private partnership context. And COVID-19 also comes with the opportunity. New generation who have digital and technology skill can be our new hope for the growth of agricultural sector. MOAC puts an importance to develop agriculture in every aspect, especially to young smart farmers, who will be the main engine of the economic growth of the country. Therefore, MOAC implemented policy to incentivize young farmers to engage in agriculture. However, the above-mentioned factor cannot be succeed without the collaboration among all stakeholders, participants, partnership and involving stakeholders from the government sector, private sector, civil society, academia, especially small-scale farmers, who will be the key to overcome the crisis and secure global food security. We would like to ensure that Thailand will work closely with our country and our stakeholders to help accelerating progress toward the Sustainable Development Goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Theridak and Madame Srasam. That was very nice. Our next issue was on water, sanitation, and hygiene. World Vision's rapid recovery assessments for COVID-19 revealed that over 24% of respondents do not have access to adequate water for drinking, cooking, and personal and hygiene needs, which increases the risk of waterborne and infectious disease and child malnutrition. Let us listen from Teptida, a child leader from Laos, for her dialogue. Again, a friendly reminder, Teptida will be speaking in her local language Lao. Please click on the interpretation button again that looks like a globe at the bottom part of your screen and choose English for the English translation. After Teptida, please make sure you turn off your interpretation by clicking the button again. Now, let our voice be heard.
สวัสดี
Greetings from Lampidor. My name is Tepida. I am a 15-year-old girl, a young leader in my community. I am from the community where World Vision is working along with the government, supporting well-being of the most vulnerable children. When we heard about COVID-19 pandemic for the first time, I had a sense of fear and I had many concerns. The limitations and restrictions due to the COVID-19 affected me and my family in our daily life. Before the pandemic happens, I can go to school as normal. But then I was at home. I felt uncomfortable, bored, anxious, and fear of COVID-19. The major problems faced by my family and community are, first, lack of clean drinking water and inadequate food and water. And some families still fill bottles from the water canals for drinking and household use, which put them at high risk for infection. Second, limited livelihood opportunities. I want our government and development agency to address the issue of shortage of clean drinking water and opportunities for food security. However, I have seen the attention and effort of the government and organizations like World Vision giving continued support to ensure the safety of the people, especially children and other assistants in community. But it is not widespread to all communities. I would like to encourage the authorities to share information widely on maintaining sanitation standards in our communities and to provide some materials to increase the sanitation and hygiene in all our communities in La PDR. I would like to give the credit to my government, World Vision, village authorities, and my parents for coming together and keeping us and our community safe. Moreover, I think children can be developed as community ambassadors in raising awareness about hygiene standards to friends and to all our community to be aware of. Together, we can keep our children, communities, and country safe from the COVID-19. The COVID-19 can be defeated if we can stand united against it. Thank you for giving this opportunity to me to share my heart to you. And I believe you will always be an advocate for the well-being of children across the ASEAN countries, including my country, Lao PDR. ขอบใจหลายๆ Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Teftida. That was really nice of you, and it was really inspiring. Well, at this point, I think we will listen to the polls of our audience now. We will have a poll using Mentimeter, so please log on to www.menti.com and use the code 6317114 and tell us the world you want. Well, for me, I want a world that is safe for everyone. That was a little bit of an example on what you can write. And, well, while waiting for your responses, allow me to read some of the comments from our audiences. Well, let's see. It says here from Rosalind Gabriel says, "Good afternoon, everyone, from our team here in Lao PDR. We appreciate this great collaboration and chance to hear the voice of children from our communities across Asia." Well, thank you. That was so sweet. Oh, I'll tell you the code again. 63. Can we please show the code again? Oh yeah. It says here on the screen. If you see it on the screen, go to www.menti.com and use the code 405052 and 8. Do you want me to say it again? I'll say the code again. 405052 and 8. I hope everyone got that right. Ooh, we already have some answers. So, you guys want a world that is safer for children, peaceful for all children. That is really nice. I want that too. You want a world that is, wow, there's a lot coming in. World with peace. You also want the world that you want is for children's voices can be heard. Most of y'all are saying that you want a world that is safe for children, and I could never agree more to that one. We have, you want a world that is peace, that is united, and that is caring, peaceful. Okay, there's a lot. Okay, there's just a lot. Wow. Yes, you can type your answer here too, if you want. Well, since we have a very few time, I think we should move on. But thank you. And most of y'all have said that you want a world that is safe for children. And I also want a world that is safe for children and peaceful and very environmental. So thank you, dear friends, for participating. Your voice really matters. And now we have to continue to our next issue, which is education. The pandemic has also pushed some children to stop their schoolwork or other learning in order to work to help their family survive during this pandemic. Now, education is a really big issue, so let us hear from Jason, a child leader from Philippines, and Undersecretary Tanisto O'Malley for the Department of Education in the Philippines for their dialogue. Now, let our voice be heard.
Hello, mabuhay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jason. I am 17 years old and a child leader from the Philippines. The COVID-19 pandemic has made a huge impact in the lives of many children. Our parents' livelihoods and occupations are affected. Our schooling interrupted, and worst, it has made children more vulnerable to abuse, stop schooling, and malnutrition. When the pandemic started to intensify, I felt anxious because I'm afraid that my family or one of my loved ones might get infected by the virus, especially since my father and eldest sibling still had to go to work. The pandemic has greatly affected our classes. Since the lockdown was imposed, we have stopped going to school. To prevent the rapid increase of COVID cases, we need to stay at home and wait for the opening of classes, which was extended to October instead of June. We understand that this is the new normal and we have to embrace it, although we find it hard to adjust at first. For me, it's challenging to adopt the new ways of learning through the new modalities. Many of my classmates do not have smartphones, laptops, and internet connection, which are necessary tools for online education. Indeed, the pandemic is pushing some children to stop their schoolwork or their learning in order to work and help their family to survive during the pandemic. As a child leader, I would like to call our government to develop innovative ways to reach out the students who are having economic challenges by providing more doable options to continue their education, to create space for conversation with the students on our experiences and propose solutions, and to ensure that education reaches the most vulnerable children, particularly children with limited access on the internet or technology, and households with several children of different ages. Besides from all of that, we also need life skills education that can help us to be aware of our rights, to protect us from abuse, and enable us to reach our full potential. I would like to encourage every student and every child to keep on striving and to continue their education despite of all the happenings this year. We should all unite to find ways to address these issues. We, children, are part of the solution. Thank you very much for this great opportunity to speak on behalf of Filipino learners. May God bless our governments and other stakeholders in making safe and equitable education possible for every child. That will be all. Thank you.
Over to you, Mr. O'Malley. You're on mute.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nomundari, our child from Mongolia, and to the other child speakers from Thailand, Thiradak from Lao PDR, Theptida, Aisha from Indonesia. Later on, we will hear from him, and also Grace from Myanmar. And of course, I thank Jason. Very well articulated. This is indeed timely, listening to what our children have to say, especially here in the Philippines. We pass what you call as the National Students Act. This was just passed last year, where we observe November 17 of every year as National Students Day. We are very happy to hear again the thoughts of our child speakers, particularly right now with respect to education. As I was listening intently about what Jason was talking about parents' livelihood and occupation being affected, about the challenges for our children, Filipino children, to adjust and adapt to the new normal, how these challenges are really very real, because as we try to make sure that education shall continue, many of our Filipino children have no access to gadget, and if they do, may still have challenges in accessing the internet. And the way that everybody, I also heard Jason talking about some of our children who may be more vulnerable to abuse and who are forced to stop schooling as they need to help our parents, their parents, to provide food for the table, or earn for the family. The Department of Education, and I appreciate Jason, can see the efforts of the government, particularly with respect to the Department of Education, under the leadership of the Philippine Minister for Education, Secretary Leonor Deling Magtolis Briones. We have launched what we call the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan. Nomundari, Jason, as Jason very well know, of the Philippine education, the Philippine system, to make sure that education shall continue. And here we have emphasized, because our Philippine president have prohibited the conduct of face-to-face learning. Maybe, hopefully, until early next year. But right now, totally, we don't have any form of face-to-face learning. We have emphasized distance learning, and part of this, to make sure that distance learning will happen, is the printing and distribution of self-learning modules, and that should address the issue raised by Jason with respect to our Filipino learners who may have no access to gadget, or if they do have challenges in accessing the internet. So we distribute printed modules, and we maximize the use of radio and TV as a form of educating our children. Again, part of the challenges mentioned, adjustment of our Filipino children. We try to revise the Philippine curriculum from what you call 14,171 most essential learning competencies. We have reduced this to 5,689. And with respect to the issue on our children being more, and we recognize that, being more prone to abuse, various forms of abuse. Even before the pandemic, we already have an order, an issuance from our Philippine Ministry of Education, which we call Child Protection Policy. And here, clearly, we have enumerated the guidelines, how to address child abuse. And we have enough laws in the Philippines to protect our children from abuses that may be committed at home. But we recognize that the challenge should be still there, and that's why we have Republic Act 8525. We have a Philippine law which mandates the Philippine Ministry of Education in engaging partners to address all these issues on top of our mandate to protect our children, to provide quality education. And that's why we are very thankful to, as I say, that we have a law mandating us to engage partners like World Vision and UNICEF. World Vision, definitely critical partner of the Philippine Ministry of Education. We have various programs focusing on making sure that education shall continue, particularly from kinder to third grade, and many other programs, including those things that mentioned by Jason, hopefully will be addressed because of our partners like World Vision and UNICEF. Maybe I would like to end by saying that, again, we commend the organizers of this forum. You could imagine, because of technology, our children from Mongolia, Thailand, Laos, PDR, Indonesia, Myanmar, and maybe other countries in Southeast Asia, including the Philippines, have this platform and opportunity to exchange our ideas, learn from each other, share our best practices to promote and ensure that every child should have access to a quality, and the way we always say here in the Philippines, equitable, culture-based, and relevant basic education. To our dear partners again, thank you very much. Because of you, our dear partners, our children, our stakeholders who are listening right now here, things that we thought cannot be done, things that we thought are impossible, things that we thought cannot be reached, can be done, are definitely possible, are definitely reachable. Again, all in the context of partners like World Vision doing activities like this. Thank you very much. Mabuhay po kayo.
Thank you, Jason and Undersecretary Umali, for your wonderful exchange of ideas. We'll listen to the voices of children on 3 issues. And before we proceed, I think we should move on to the next segment of this dialogue. And let us be inspired first with Mr. Audrey P., an empowered youth leader and founder of WeTech Filipinas, for her message to children and youth. Audrey, at a young age, did not stop until she found a solution to help reduce gender inequality in education and technology. Let us watch this inspiring video.
I was at a hackathon that had mostly guys in it back home in the Philippines, and I met this girl who bonded with me over like our frustration over the gender gap, and I had told her about like the WeTech blog and what I had been doing, and she said, okay, why don't we like collaborate on something? And I said, okay, if we create like events like this hackathon but more centered towards inclusivity and technology and like celebrating stories of women in tech. I have this dream that any Filipino youth can grow up and feel like tech is as welcome to them as just like any other person. And that when they think of somebody in the tech industry, it isn't like a set gender, race, or like socioeconomic like, background. We also want to keep on bringing these secondhand laptops to different public schools. We want to keep reaching more students who have never heard of technology before. The overall goal is to be able to reach like every public high school that doesn't have tech equipment. We hear these really great stories of how tech is being used to connect people from around the world, to solve like world issues. By giving and promoting tech accessibility, we're widening the ability for young people to be able to create their own solutions. We're hoping to give the resources that hopefully can enable future Filipino change makers to really thrive. That's what we think can not just help with like the development of the Philippines, but like the world as a whole. Because we acknowledge that in order to solve like really key world issues, like say like global hunger, like the water crisis, we need as many like diverse perspectives as possible. We're trying to equip those like marginalized communities and groups with like the resources they need to join those discussions about tech.
Such a wonderful, powerful words of encouragement. And now, let's talk about violence against children during pandemic. Loss of livelihood and increased stress at the household results on increasing levels of violence and exploitation against children, including physical violence, child labor, and child marriage. And increased time online puts children at risk of violence and exploitation. Let us hear from Ishak, a child leader from Indonesia, who will share his insights on violence against children, and from Deputy Minister Lenny Rosalind, Deputy Minister of Women, Empowerment, and Child Protection on fulfillment of children rights Indonesia. Together, let's say, let our voice be heard.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Isak, a young leader from Indonesia. I'm 17 years old and now in the third grade of senior high school. I'm a child lead of Children Council from East Nusa Tenggara Province. I've been participating as a child rights advocate and also campaigning for child protection since 2017. I would like to share my opinion during the COVID-19 pandemic. In June to July 2020, I had the opportunity to become a young research supervised by Wahana Visi Indonesia to assess the impact of COVID-19 to children. Results showed that more children experience and observe violence during the pandemic. For example, child marriage has increased during this pandemic, making children more vulnerable to experiencing any violence. There also an increase in child labor and child exploitation. I did an interview survey to the child respondents and several informants for the church, the parents, and the child laborers. It was combined with data from related agencies such as the Office for Women Empowerment and Child Protection, from media, and Indonesian Children's Coalition, namely Indonesian Joint Forces to End Violence Against Children. I found that during the pandemic, many children are working and exploited. This is reinforced by the growing number of children who work in traditional markets, bus stations, roadsides, and public transportation. They carry heavy goods, sell foods in the market, and become a driver assistant of public transport and a street picker. Some reasons include the need for a child to help his parents to meet the family's needs, and they have no money to continue their study online. They say, we want to study, we want to go to school, and we want to play with our peers. When they work, some of their friends experience physical and emotional abuse. It is very sad to see as our peers become victims of savagery and employed in a way. I, personally, have recommendation for all of us to prevent child labor as well as exploited children. First, the provision of social assistance and classroom for child labor who have dropped out of school. Second, strengthen the legal umbrella regarding child labor and child and exploitation children and require the implementation of compulsory study 12 years policy. And the last, to conduct survey and counseling on child abuse as well as child labor in family level in particular and society in general. Children are the future. We want to feel safe, careful, and protected. We need to be heard and stop exploited and employed children. Let us care for our children and environment because not only does the government have to intervene in the settlement, but we all have to contribute as well. The same weight is carried, likely is carried. Berat sama dipikul, ringan sama dicincin. That is the proverb that shows that carrying out everything, it takes cooperation to get a success. Thank you.
Over to you, Ms. Roslyn.
Yeah, thank you, Namonderi. Thanks. Thanks also to Isaac. Thank you. I think it's very true. The things that you just mentioned before, that during pandemic there are some child labors, yeah, and also there is an increasing on the violence against children as well. And you have already mentioned here some recommendation, especially on the social assistance as well as the policy, yeah, the legal policies, as well as doing the survey and giving the services, the counseling services for child victims. And also you mentioned that how in the future that for all children, since you come from East Nusa Tenggara, how they could get all the rights, how the people not only the government, yeah, but also all the people, the local communities, the family, and all people, all stakeholders give a child rights fulfillment as well as to protect their children. So if we talk about child marriage, yeah, Indonesia has a high prevalence on child marriage, yeah, and in some villages during pandemic, based on the data showing some numbers increase. So this become our challenge, yeah, to make sure that in the future no more children married under 18 years old. Even though the government has already revised the act on marriage before, for girls, they can get married at 16 years old. Yeah, Isaac, you know. But now the government has already revised the act. Yeah, Act number 16, year 2019, in which the minimum age of marriage is 19 years old, not 16 years old anymore. So it means above the age of children. Yeah, the definition of children in Indonesia is under 18 years old. So under the new act, because the act is quite new, yeah, in the last year, and after a few months, we are all hit by pandemic. So our president also has a high commitment, yeah, on how to reduce this child marriage. That's why our Ministry of Women Empowerment and Child Protection got 5 important mandates from the presidents. Among others is how to prevent child marriage, as well as how to reduce violence against children, and how to reduce child labor. So our president, Bapak Joko Widodo, is very concerned on this, and we have already also, the government has already put in our 5-year development plan 2020-2024, because it's mandated by the presidential regulations. Yeah, so we are hoping by the end of 2024, child marriage in Indonesia could be reduced. Yeah, even though maybe not zero, yeah, Isaac, yeah, but we are trying to reduce significantly. Yeah, because 12 years compulsory education is a must. Yeah, so children have to go to the school, not to marry. Yeah, they don't have to. They are not allowed to work, because we have also the regulation on this. Yeah, children can work, but after 15 years old, but it's not in the dangerous field. But we urge all parents to bring their children to the schools, and then they can finish 12 years compulsory education by the age of 18 years old. Yeah. So Isaac is very good, and based on our survey also, the prevalence of violence against children, since we are very committed to reduce it, the government also provided the one that's also we have already developed in the province where Isaac comes from, yeah, in East Nusa Tenggara. We call integrated services for child protection, child victims, yeah, of the violence, yeah. So we call in bahasa Indonesia unit pelayanan pelaksana teknis perlindungan perempuan dan anak, ya, UPTD PPA. So this is the unit in which giving the services, the integrated services, yeah, starting from the when the victims come to the unit, they will be diagnosed whether they do need health services, social services, or maybe legal services, or reintegration, or even other services to the victims. So we have this in all provinces and some districts, yeah, including in Isak province. we call UPTD technical units for violence against children victims. And related to the targets, since this becomes one of the priority and one of the mandates from our president, so we are going also to put the targets by the end of 2020 that the violence against children will be reduced significantly by that year. This including also the child labor. So one of the very sudden decision given to all children who are the victims of the pandemic, who are impacted from pandemic. They got what we call special needs from our minister. Yeah, so the minister gave 70% of all total budget given to the provinces. That those budgets are used to fulfill the children's needs, special needs. Yeah, among others, like you name it, like biscuits, like eggs, yeah, like pampers for under 5 years old children, yeah, and then honey, yeah, vitamins, and some other foods given to the children who are who are suffered from this pandemic. This given to all provinces in Indonesia. Yeah, so this given by reallocating our 70% of the total budget of provinces. Yeah, before not for these purposes, but then during pandemic there is a decision coming from our minister that now happens and it's given to all children around the country. Yeah, this hopefully can help, can assist all the families with children. Yeah, so they can have a good health to prevent the pandemic. Related to the survey, yeah, Isaac, I think as a member of a Child Forum in Indonesia, you are aware also about the survey, yeah, on pandemic impact to children. We've done it twice, yeah. First one in March, at early March, yeah, when the pandemic hit our country at the first time, and the second one in July, August, yeah. About 5 or 6 months later to see the progress. And it's surprisingly, the first survey found that almost 60% of our children are not feeling good doing school time at home. I think it happens around the world. Yeah. Namun Dari, you are also feeling the same thing, right? Tefida also, yeah, Tefida, you're also feel not good, right? While during pandemic, everybody has to study at home, has to work at home, yeah, everything at home. So our home becomes our office, our kitchen, our our schools, yeah, our playground, everything's done at home, yeah. So we do our survey and found that almost 60% of our children feel not good during school time, during the pandemic. Yeah, Isaac, yeah? And then we found that about 13%, 13% of our children feel depressed, yeah, because of pandemic. So that's why our ministry developed the new services on the mental health services, yeah, to help children around the country, 24 hours, 7 days a week, yeah. The services given by health mental medical doctor specialists to help all children who have a problem because of the pandemic. Yeah. So these services are given to all, no discrimination, and we also thanks to children of Indonesia because during pandemic they do also have like a survey, like what just Isak mentioned before, and they found that some people, adults people, do not wear masks, for example. Yeah, so they also give the input to the government that please give penalties to all adults who break the the health protocols during pandemics. Yeah, so it's very good. I myself proud of our children in Indonesia, especially because we do have Child Forum. Yeah, Isak. Yeah, you are one of the member of Isak Child Forum in Indonesia. We do have Child Forum starting from national, provinces, district and cities, sub-district and cities, up to the villages level. We give them, we improve their capacity, yeah. We give them the roles as agent of change and as a rapporteurs, yeah. Agent of change to any kind of issues they face, like reproductive health, smoking, yeah. So like a violence, about water and sanitation, yeah, about nutrition, everything related to the issues of children, our children themselves. They give their voices, yeah. So we improve their capacity. We give them the roles as the agent of change and rapporteurs. And one more, I think Isak one of them also, that our children give the chance to be involved in the planning process starting from the villages. Yeah. So our children can speak up. They can give their voices to the people, to the local government. When the local government started developing the plans, annual plans or 5-year development plans. So the voices of children are given a very special place there, special treatment, special time, because it's mandated by our regulation also, yeah, by our act. So in Indonesia, we are going to achieve, inshallah, yeah, we are going to achieve Indonesia child-friendly Indonesia in the year 2030. Parallel to the Sustainable Development Goals. Yeah, of course, this needs synergies and cooperation with all stakeholders, and of course, including the roles of children themselves. Yeah, children's voices are gold voices. They are gold voices, because based on their voices, we develop, we revise, yeah, our policy, our program, our activities, because one of the goals is Indonesia Child Friendly 2030. Yeah. So, Isak, I myself give high appreciation to you and your friends, to your other children, and your voices are very important. And let's give the best to our beloved children. Yeah, not only in Indonesia, but in Asia Pacific and in the world, children in the world. Yeah. Are you agree with my statement?
Yes. Thank you, Mrs. Rosalind. It was
our children. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ishak and Deputy Minister Rosalind, for such a comprehensive dialogue in addressing violence against children. That was really amazing. And now we are down to the last issue, which I believe everybody, not just children, can relate. As the pandemic shut down cities, many people become cyber citizens, increasing time on the internet. Let's talk about online safety for children. We have here Grace, a child leader from Myanmar, to share to us her thoughts. And to respond to your recommendations, we are privileged to have Her Excellency Miss Yuyun Fani Prayani, Indonesia's representative to the ASEAN Commission on the Promotion and Protection of the Rights of Women and Children. Welcome! Let our voice be heard, everyone!
Hi everyone, Ninglaba. My name is Grace Arni. I am 70 years old. I am representing the children in Myanmar. As a child leader in my community, I am actively involved and participate in child protections and development activities. Now I am studying in the first years of international relations at Stockholm University. In the future, I want to be a diplomat. As you all know, this time is COVID-19 times. Yeah, COVID-19 makes children stay at home. Many hands-on family love their jobs, and it creates difficulties in the families. For children like us, we cannot go to school and study. We can meet our friends. As children, we spend more time online, and there is danger in using the internet, especially social media. The COVID-19 pandemic has put more children and young people to spend more time online during lockdowns. Some of the reasons why we use internet are for our online class, to keep in touch with our friends, and to entertain ourselves. Let me tell you a story about a Myanmar boy. He said he had bad experience using the internet. When he used social media, someone sent him a friend request, and he after that, it was normal chat in the beginning, but later he chat nonsense and sent photos and videos. He was scared and just blocked that account. One of his friends also had that experience. He became friends with women through online. They chat each other, and that man sent phone bill for his friend and showed bad pictures. Later, that man asked to meet outside. Like these Myanmar boys, when we use when parents and young people spend more time online, there may be an increase in their exposure to risks like being contacted by strangers, cyberbullying, or viewing inappropriate contacts like sexual assault pictures and videos. I have observed that in Myanmar, there is telecommunication law where it protects citizens from extortions, corrections, and threat using any telecommunications network. We can also report a cybercrime to police or to cyberbreaking. It is Myanmar Cybersecurity Awareness Campaign page. I think the government should strengthen and reinforce the law and effectively protect children from being bullied online. Currently, there are many online meetings organized between the government departments and the experts for cybercrime. If they allow child and youth representatives to participate in the meeting, that will be more helpful. For children like us, we can raise awareness to our friends and to the children in our community on the responsible use of internet. It should help us and not put in danger. We should also help report violations and inappropriate contacts in our social media. In that way, we are helping the government in making the internet safe for everybody. Thank you very much. Jesus Temare.
Over to you, Madam Yuyum.
Okay, thank you, Nomundari from Mongolia. Okay, good for the you are the what is the host to manage the discussion, and also thank you also from the Myanmar. I got your recommendation actually from the Ariel. They sent me message the email about the recommendation. I think and suddenly I just forward to my colleagues from the ACWC in Myanmar. to follow up what your recommendation. I hope she will follow up, and we will invite you and maybe the youth group and the children group to be more discussion on the online protection issues in Myanmar. If they not invite you, please let me know. Huh? I will help you to make a recommendation. Okay, that's from my side. Actually, as the SCWC children rep from Indonesia, and also in ASEAN, we already have many of the concern about the online safety on the children in ASEAN. For example, we already conduct the regional workshop for promoting comprehensive and harmonized national legislation. I'm at the prevention and combating online child sexual exploitation. We said the OXI, online children sexual exploitation. And then after that, we have intersectoral dialogue and the integrated national response to end sexual exploitation and abuse of children online in ASEAN. And then ACWC with the SOMSWAT also, we already have declaration on the protection on the child from all form online exploitation and abuse in ASEAN. This already mentioned by the Kun Wan Chai in the beginning. And then we have a draft regional plan of action for the protection of the children from all online exploitation and abuse in ASEAN. That's a very important actually. If with the flow of the declarations, not only the declaration, but we have to follow up. What the kind of follow up from declaration? That with the flow of the regional plan of action for the protection of the child from all online exploitation and abuse. Why we concern on this? Because we know the increased number of the children as a victim or the sexual online. Not only in ASEAN and maybe in Asia Pacific, this number and increase. That's why the ACWC focus to make a special RPA, because before we already have the regional plan of action on elimination violence against children, but now we want to special focus on the children from all form online exploitation and abuse in ASEAN. That can see our commitment from the SCWC to protect children related with the online safety. That's we want to make the children is protect in ASEAN. And then during the discussion also, the commitment from the leader, because SCWC only the one of body under the pillar 3, that the social community, we have the leader in the up, and also the leader have a commit for their children response during the COVID-19 pandemic. Whereas the ASEAN response has culminated the high-level political commitment reflected in the declaration of the Special ASEAN Summit on Coronavirus Disease 2019, adopted in April 2020. This followed by the several special ASEAN meetings that focus on the sectoral response to the pandemic. This is overall the situation, but the committed, the commit from the leader, they see the broad issue on the pandemic, not specific for the children. But after that, we have the joint statement under the ASEAN Ministerial Meeting on Social Welfare and Development to see the mitigation impact of COVID on vulnerable group in ASEAN. That's declared on the 10th of June 2020. That's a good commitment from the ASEAN by the leader and also by the other social minister in ASEAN. That's from my side to see to give the information how far the commitment from the SCWC to protect children under the online safety. And then the other side, I think last month, yes, under the ASEAN Children Forum, because ASEAN also have the ASEAN Children Forum, I hope all of you can be part of the ASEAN Children Forum in future. Also, they discuss about the situation of children during the pandemic. Then many of the children from the 10 countries, they mention like environment, exploitation, abuse. Indonesia, we got the mental health, the issues of the mental health because of the pandemic that they already share among the children forum. That's why the ASEAN actually is very commit to heard about the children voice. Like today, we also heard from your voice what we can bring in future. That's very important. Actually, if you have a recommendation, if you have the input, we can see later to fit in the our regional pronunciation for the online sexual exploitation and abuse. We can see that the RPA cover for your recommendation or not. If the cover is fine, but it's not, we can see the gaps and how we can put the gaps based on your recommendation in future. That's very important for you participation to this online RPA OSCE. Yeah? We said the OSCE. And then next, we can conduct also the national consultation to hear the directly from the children voice in ASEAN member state. That's what we can show what the contribution from the children to the RPA and how we can implement in future. Not only the government, not only the private sector, not only the NGO, but we need you as a right holder to be part of this. That's a very important situation, I think, in ASEAN, and also how we can increase the children participation in future. And also for information, also for the next ACWC work plan. Also, I will focus and give the one of proposal about the child participation, how we can see the participation implementation under the legal document, under the regulation. We can see the how far the governments already give the regulation or give the act related with the child participation. That's after that we can see also the what we call we can see the develop the national plan of action also related with the child participation in ASEAN. That's a very commit from the ACWC to increase the children participation to meaningful participation in future. That's from my side. But if you have a comment and question, please let me know. And if you have recommendation to your countries like Myanmar, please let me know. I can help to share the recommendation to the person who responsibility for the children issues in their countries. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Grace, for your ideas. And thank you, Madam Miriam, for your words. It was really inspirational, and for your wisdom in response to children's issues. Well, at this point, I think let us hear from the audience, what the audience says. Does the audience agree with you? Do you guys agree with them? A lot of you guys are like thanking Grace. Thank you again. And Madame Miriam, that was really amazing. It was really inspirational. Everyone is so happy to hear from us. Wow, that makes me happy. Well, shout out to all the Myanmar people over in this event and all the Indonesian people. Shout out to everyone here in this event. It was really nice for you to attend this event. Now, we will hear a message of support from Mr. Nitish Barole, Regional Focal Point for DRR in Asia Pacific from the UN Major Group for Children and Youth. And to formally close this dialogue, may I call on again Ms. Terry Ferrari, World Vision's International Regional Leader for East Asia. Come on, let's give it a nice applause. Thank you. Nitish, I think you're on mute. We can't hear you. We still can't hear you. Okay.
Can you take your headphones off and try? Unplug it from the computer. Yep.
You're still muted and we can't
You're still
hear
muted.
you.
We can't hear you. If you're using a computer, just check if there is a mute. If any of the mute keys are on, just check that as well.
Oh, well, while you fix your muted situation, let's move on to Terry. Terry, please give us your speech.
Yes. And I want to thank you, Namadura. You just did a fantastic job today as a facilitator. Your warmth, your energy, your excitement is just intoxicating. So thank you. And I'm so proud of all our children who participated and spoke up today. The Asia Pacific Child Wellbeing Learning Exchange is your stage. The world is listening. And to all the children and youth who listened in today, that were on the panel or shared in the chat or in the polls, I just want to thank you for taking time. It was so great to be with you. I hope you were encouraged by the messages you heard from the government leaders and that it demonstrates that your voice matters. We heard from adult participants today that they truly care about your welfare and they want to advance your recommendations and include you in future forums. On behalf of World Vision, I want to thank all the government representatives for being with us today and for your willingness just to listen and to partner and to model for us how we can listen to children and let them take their rightful role in contributing to policies that are sensitive to their needs. I also want to thank the civil society representatives. We share a common goal and aspiration to hold ourselves accountable to children and to ensure the right to participation is upheld at all times, especially during the COVID response and recovery period. You know, we think children are safest at home, but we've heard today that's not always the case. We have to be open to challenging ourselves to go deeper, to appreciate the stress that's on millions of families right now, and work to find sustainable solutions. If we don't, we'll be living with the social, emotional, and economic aftershocks of the pandemic for generations. And as we close our discussion, of course, we're going to let Nitish have a chance to speak. But, you know, I want every child and participant to be rest assured this is not the end, but the beginning of a meaningful conversation. And that World Vision is looking forward to helping to facilitate the conversation with children, to really give them a space to speak up in forums such as this. It is everyone's responsibility to end violence against children. And together with our partners, like we spoke with today, supporters and the community at large, we will spare no effort in doing so. So thank you, and we hope to see you again soon on a future Asia Pacific Child Wellbeing Learning Exchange. And Nitish, I'm going to turn it back over to you and hope that you can get your audio to work.
We still can't really hear you.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Can you try plugging in your earphones and then unplugging them again? Well, while waiting for Nitish, should I read some of the comments? Irita Michael says, I really appreciate the initiative and facilitation. Well heard, dear kids. Wow, that's really nice. Patanti says, thank you so much for the great event. And Nathan and Michael, oh wait, I already read that one. It was my pleasure to join this event and webinar. Thank you very much. Thank you, Terry, for the words of encouragement. Amazing child leaders and also dynamic officials from different agencies, thank you. Thank you all for organizing and letting us hear the voices from children and taking initiatives by World Vision along with service providers and partners. Thank you, World Vision and UNICEF. Thank you so much. Oh, Laura Miller says, to the children, well done. You were fabulous. You were yourselves. Well, I'm sorry that Nitish couldn't speak. I think we have to close our webinar now. But I hope you guys were all fine. And thank you, Terry, for closing this event. We have heard the voices of children and the responses of our dear government leaders. We look forward to be part of the solution, to share our thoughts and engage in meaningful conversation. We, children, will work closely with governments and key stakeholders in building back better. We'll listen to each other, and together we will defeat COVID-19. Well, thank you, everyone. This is Nandari, 15 from Mongolia, now signing out. Peace out.
Bye-bye.
Bye.